Shalom. We want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakar Kodash. Double honors the apostles and elders of greatly so. Salutations to 144,000 men. This brother Yawasap. From GMS Guyana. We want to do a lesson on the state of this country, right? As in, because we're watchmen and we're supposed to report about the prophecies that are fulfilling. And one that is prophesying right now, or executing, or has initiated, I guess you could say. It's being fulfilled according to Joel 3. And we go through the entire chapter. It may be slightly various topics, but it will be based on this article primarily, right? It says, this from iNews Guyana, issued on October 5th, 2021 by Andrew Carmichael, if I'm not mistaken. It says, government announces 1.8 billion payout for severed sugar workers, right? It says, Vice President Barjaglio,
it says, Vice President Barjaglio on Monday announced that government would give a one-off payout of $250,000 to each sugar worker who was sacked under a Partnership for National Unity Alliance for Change APNU AFC administration. This amounts to some 1.8 billion.
Good.
Right? It says, and just to give some context, right? APNU, AFC, there's the previous government, previous administration, right? It says he was at the time meeting with sugar workers at Skeldon, Barbies during a one-day visit, right? It says some 7,000 sugar workers had lost their jobs at the end of 2016 when the APNU AFC moved to downsize the sector, and majority came from Region 6.
Good. Now, Region 6 is an area where predominantly East Indians live. The so-called Afro-Guyanese, the Jakes, settled mainly on Region 4, Region 3, right? But a lot of indentured laborers, East Indians, they settled on that side, and in one of the areas is Skeldon, as you mentioned there. President Barjaglio, as by name, you can tell that he's an Elamite, right? So that's no coincidence, you know. And they're playing the blame game. The Gaisuko industry was already at a major loss, even when they were in power for 20 years. You know, a lot of the Oh My Go mine was down, the Gaisuko was down. I think the bauxite, if I'm not mistaken, and so forth. A lot of stuff was being sold out, you know. But now they're back in power. They're playing the blame game.
And even to give some more context, right? There was Jakes also in Region 6, but they didn't settle in the area of Skeldon. They settled in areas like New Amsterdam, right? Because you know, we went into the history of New Amsterdam.
Oh yeah,
right? You know, with and yeah, even one of the biggest slave rebellion in this country actually took place up there. All right,
that's right.
You know,
and to add to that as well, you know, my I was from a good source, someone who worked in the Gaisuko industry, said that a lot of Jakes didn't want to do sugar because it reminded them too much of slavery. So, and you know Jakes already, they're not gonna tell you, oh, you still a slave, you working at Gaisuko. You know Jakes when rub you the wrong way, and your pride and get the best of you, and you're gonna say, nah man, I can't work here no more, and you find an alternative. Which a lot of Jakes moved to Regions 4 and 3 primarily, and Linden. Well, there was some in Linden initially, pretty bauxite. But the thing is, right, this Elamite is looking out for his own. Yet Jake want to love everybody. Jake feel everybody on his side. Jake was complaining about because APNU AFC was primarily a Jake orientated party. But we all know they are sellouts. They are pawns and puppets for the master plan. Because he saw control both sides of these governments and wars.
Yeah, it says some 7,000 workers had lost their jobs at the end of 2016 when APNU AFC moved to downsize the sector. The majority came from Region 6.
Okay.
By January or so, each sugar worker who are severed
So it's a
would
severance package.
right, would also get another 250,000 on their severance.
So you see this $500,000. It's $500,000 he gave into each 7,000 worker. There's like 3 point something billion, right? If I'm not mistaken.
But just to show you, hey, this is real politics because initially, all right,
3.5.
it said that it will be a one-off. But if it's a one-off, where the second
Coming from.
you
But
know?
read why you giving it away.
Said would get another 250,000 on their severance. That would be between 1.7 and 1.8 billion because we have 7,000 workers who are severed who all get that. If this is crucial, it is important that we fix this. It was a great injustice and many people stood out there and remained silent. Right, so basically this Elamite president, he basically saying that, you know, an injustice was done to his people, you know, by Jakes. Alright? Now he want give his people some sort of compensation, you know?
Keep going on.
Yeah, it says many of them to justify the action of the APNU because of politics, but any decent people, any decent person would have stood up and defended it. It was only the People Progressive Parties, Jack Dio said.
God precept.
Yeah.
This is Hosea chapter 8 and verse 1. It says, set the trumpet to thy mouth, he shall come as an eagle against the house of Yahweh, because they have transgressed my covenant and trespassed against my law. Israel shall cry unto me, my power, we know thee. Israel has cast off the thing that is good, the enemy shall pursue him. And this is exactly what happened. Alright? So Israel cast off cast off the law, statutes, the commandments, the good grace of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Now the enemy is pursuing us. Now the enemy can take the same oil money that they're saying that, yeah, it's Ilano, and hyping up and feel that they can get. It's Jake saying these things, you know. But the Elam don't know is they can get it. They can get the benefit, right? It says they have set up kings, but not of me. They have made princes and knew it not. Of their silver and their gold they have made them idols, and that they may be cut off. So they set up kings. Right? They voted for the APNU, and now this man playing blame game for the APNU. So now we know that Esau put them in power, but we believe that Jake voted these people into power, you know, or it would have still gone into power, but because there was several Jacob's still fighting to get it count, right? But none of them matter. This is the Most High will, you know, right? Brother?
It says,
oh, let me read this one here. Verse 8. continue from 5. Thy calf, O Samaria, hath cast thee off. Mine anger is kindled against thee. How will it be ere they attain to innocency? For from Israel it was also the workman made it. Therefore it was not Yahweh, but the calf. This is talking about the idols, right? But the calf of Samaria shall be broken in pieces, for they have sown, and this is interesting, it's a calf, right? Because they put Elam in power, and Elam is worshiping the calf. So they're idolizing Elam, right? For they have sown the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind. It hath no stalk, but the bud shall yield no meal. If so be it yield, the stranger shall swallow it up. So Jacob want to partake in working at these places and so forth. Now Elam getting all the benefits, as the curses would have illustrated in Deuteronomy 28. This is the point. Israel is swallowed up, and now they shall be among Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. Right? Our skeleton is predominantly Elamites. You got it, huh? Again,
Yeah, can. Yeah, can. It says, in addition, the vice president also stated that 10,000 jobs are expected to be created under the Emergency Employment Program. It says, in every region,
and I sure the Emergency Employment Program going to set up policies whereby you can't work unless you get a job card, unless you get the C19 test, PCR test, and whatnot, you know. And Jake is going to give in because this is desperate times. You know, as he said, many people are being laid off because it's like Emergency Employment Act. Why the fuck didn't you do this Emergency Employment Act all the time? Or apply the same strategies to create jobs?
What I want to know is, you know, where was the same energy when, you know, Jake came out of slavery?
Yeah, see that?
All right. You know, where was the energy? All right. We needed to be compensated for all this hard work we put in.
Yeah.
Right? You know, did we get anything? The only thing we get, technically speaking, the only thing that, you know, Jake's got when they so-called abolished slavery is actually a bill to foot.
Yeah.
All right? Because the slave owners needed to be paid by the nations for those goods, so to speak, that they that they let go of.
Exactly.
All right?
And guess who paid it? Tax workers, you know.
Yeah,
Taxpayers to that,
right? And to this day, the bill's still being foot. All right? You know, like you know, back when I was in the world, you know, I used to follow this Jake by the name of you know, Hillary Beckles. All right? He's from Barbados, if I ain't mistaken. But basically, he's the head of the Caribbean Reparation Committee, right? And in 2016, he actually went to England. This like this annual summit or some shit. But basically, he was saying that you know, he was saying that these Jake's country, all right, ought to stop paying the bill. The reason being is because we already provide so much things to these other countries like England and the US.
That's right.
All right. You know, he was saying basically it's an unfair deal, but that's how Esaias get them.
Unrighteous decrees.
All right. Yeah, I get a precept. This is Zechariah 11 and verse 5. It says, "Who possesses slay them and hold themselves not guilty."
That's right.
All right. So every hand that Jake get dealt, all right, they say, hey, there's a fair hand. You know, whatever happened to y'all. But when shit happened to the other nations, they just get, you know, stuff in return. All right. Like take for example, you know, these Jewish rats. They get some sort of compensation. All right. Was it Vietnam? All right. What was the?
From Germany.
Yeah, can be
From Germany.
the
Yeah.
Holocaust, Jewish rats.
Forget what it's
Germany,
called.
right?
Forget a specific terminology. It's called Holocaust something. Holocaust grief or something like that.
Right, but yeah, there was the Agent Orange situation in Vietnam, right? Which was a bioweapon that you know, America basically used on Vietnam and really fucked the whole country up.
Yep. Yep.
Right? You know, you should, you know, go and look up the history. And those going back to what you was talking about earlier, the man that caused nations to be shaken.
Let me get it.
You know? There's Esau with his bombs, alright? But also too,
It's military might.
yeah, it's military might.
Even its presence, even its presence as well, you know, in these nations. Because which nation has embassy in which country has embassy in every nation, right? Don't worry, I'll wait.
You know, so everybody could get, you know, stuff in return for their hardship, for their labor. But Jake is like, you know, forgotten.
Got it? This is Isaiah 14, verse 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee and say, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?
Yeah, right? You know, when he dropped the bomb, you know, Hiroshima, all right? You know, Pearl Harbor is nothing, all right? It's nothing. He did a million times worse than that, you know? Iraq is get Pearl Harbor like every fucking other month, you know?
Shit, he get to is get Pearl Harbor every other month.
Hey,
World is get Pearl Harbor every
technically, all right, in America, they actually drop bombs on Jake Forest.
See now?
You know?
Oh, don't talk about Haiti. Don't talk about Haiti. You know? They mean to keep Haiti down.
Yeah.
Through any means, any country, any way. But this for sure that there's a priest to the Most High. The Most High got him in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, go back to your
Yeah, I get
priest.
back in Zechariah 11 and verse 5, it says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
See that? Which would go back to our people being empowered. They didn't pity we. They didn't pity we, or they couldn't even help. God, the scripture says that thine eye shall be evil toward thy brother. You get it?
No, that's something else though.
You get that?
Yeah, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bond men and bond women, and no man shall buy you. Right? And then no man shall buy you is going into basically no one is going to get, you know, any sort of get any sort of substance back for, you know, what is going to be done to us in this place. You know, it's only going to be how it's shy, all right, when he comes back, all right. You know, but otherwise to done, no carnal man, all right, no Marcus Garvey, no William Beckles, no Rodney Walton, no Lyndon Forbes Barnum, no Granger, all right.
No Martin Luther King.
No Martin Luther King. All right. No Huey Newton. No nobody. No Malcolm X.
Not even Catch a Creole. Catch a Creole. That was a fictional character. To the extent you got, joke about it because
Yeah.
people just don't get it. They just don't get it, Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's continue reading, but let me read this quick.
Yeah.
It says Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. They that covet fields, and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away, so that they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Let's self-explanatory. You know who the cap fits?
It says, in addition, Salakia, it says, in every region, we will put together a facility to temporary employ people and give them a few days/weeks of work. Those who are unemployed, the region would have about 1,000 persons who will be able to work on government program for maybe 3 or 4 days per week so that they can get to maintain their families while they are training to get their slack while they are training or they are looking for another job.
Yeah.
All right. And I gotta say it, the part they actually stole it from Jake. All right, because under Lyndon Forbes Burnham, there was a system called the National Guard, and those sung a lot slacking, not National Guard, National Service. All right, where you could go in and learn different trades and things. All right, and you get to a sniping whilst you're learning.
Something scrap this place through Wilford Avenue name. We used to do it by not too far from GTI. It's very brown, man. I can't remember it right now, but this true up.
Yeah, can. Plus, even the last administration, right? They had started Collins Beacham College, and it was the same thing. You're working, you're getting a sniping, and you're learning a trade at the same time.
Yep.
But they stop all these things, but they're bringing it back. And just goes to show that, Jake is the salt of the earth, right? These Elamites know nothing. Some copycats.
Yep.
Yeah, it can. It says, putting out the difficulties in the sugar industry, the vice president noted that despite injecting $14 billion into the industry since returning to government in August last year, the deterioration of the industry caused by the previous government has resulted in the Guyana Sugar Corporation, Guyasuku, spending more than the revenue it's currently receiving.
Okay.
But when you access it from social impact side, it is important and necessary spending, Jack Leo pointed out.
Yeah. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 11. It says, "But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before." This is modern day Egypt, This is the province of Egypt, if you will. Because when there was a famine around Joseph's time, a lot of those nations sold the land. A lot of countries around Egypt sold the land to Egypt, so it became a province, right? So right now, these Elamites, these Elamites selling out this country to Esau, They don't care as long as I feel they don't book a spot in the bunker. You know. It says
Esau ain't give a fuck about them.
exactly. Oyster. Smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundations of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment, and the Most High shall bring upon it. And they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with fearful consolation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Now, no blasting, hail, and so forth, but the seeds failing, right? Because Esau controlled the seeds and with Monsanto and other companies, right? And these are GMO stuff. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. One people shall stand and fight up against another, and swords in the hand. They don't have swords in the hand right now, but this basically... You walking?
Slack, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just a bit dark, so we're just trying to adjust it. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Yeah. One people shall stand and fight against another, right? For they shall be sedition among men and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions stand in their power. Now, you see what they're doing, they can cause conflict, and they can force Jake to act a fool, which in Jake done acting a fool. Jake can break shit up, excuse me, right? Jacob's trouble is here. These people don't care about us, bro. These people don't care about the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Amerindians. A lot of Venezuelans coming over here to say that they can give the Venezuela a green card so that they could stay in power. This is what Elam's saying. You know? Yeah, go ahead. I'll continue reading.
Yeah, can. But one of the things here, right, it said, stick out to me is that it says, right, but when you access it from the social impact side, it is important and necessary spending. So basically, they already invest money into this, into these sugar workers that they ain't got or ain't receiving back.
Yep.
And they still want to pump more into it. And they're saying it's justified.
Yep.
You know?
Talking about sociable.
Right.
You know?
It's because why? It's because it's their people. Right? And the scripture talk about it, that every creature is, you know, is returned to his son.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You know?
Every man would think to his own like.
Right. Right. It says the VP further added that the plan to have the private sector invest in Skeldon sugar factory has seen the investors wanting to use the land not for sugar production, but to produce electricity for the co-generation plants at the estate.
So these private, you see they're bringing in private sectors, and who own all these private sector businesses? It's Elam. So either way, these people is for themselves. Jake, you tell Jake that these people don't give a damn about us. Jake still don't hear. We can preach till we head pop. And Jake still will think, boy, we gotta love everybody, one love, one unity. We gotta set the example. We've been setting the example, bro. We're the most compassionate people in this world. And we gullible at this time. We naive. You know, we naive. The scripture said never trust thine enemy. You guys are?
Right? And some Jake is naive, but some Jake actually noted that these people don't like them. But what? They just abiding. Right? They just just dealing with the bullshit exactly because they get in a cut of the pie.
I know exactly what the Spirit is telling you to use. This is about this. This is Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? The young lions roared upon him and yelled, and they made his land waste and his cities burnt, without habitation. All right? Israel has become a homeborn slave. We're not meant to serve nobody, but Yahweh Hashem put you in this position so that we would appreciate what we had and what we will get, and we will be better judges. We will set an example, and especially the elect. The elect will show that in spite of all these things, we still do the will of Yahweh Hashem, and we still serve we enemies to the best of our ability. That's Jake in general, and yet this call we lazy.
Yeah.
This call we lazy. We've been working vigorously, and you vex because we just want to take a rest. But that's why the scripture said, rise and depart, and this is not your rest. And on top of that too, we just like we father, because we father Yahweh, and we brought big brother Yahweh Shai, neither sleep nor slumber. You know? We are talking.
Yep. It says, yeah, and yeah, to what of making a point out, because one of the things I want to say too is that a lot of jakes, they fall into this slave spirit.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
They're going to tell massa.
Yeah.
I tell massa.
Just forget bag or forget less lashes. The scripture said, woe unto you that are rich, because you're wicked and naked and so forth, you know? And woe unto you that are rich, because you receive your consolation. Where that?
Yeah. It says, we are having discussion with a number of people. Salakia. We are having discussion with a number of people who want to do a joint venture at Skeldon. The problem is that most of them do not want to grow cane for sugar. They want to sell power to the government, and they want a price for the power, which is extraordinarily high on a long-term contract. Jackie noted that if government purchase power at the rate, it will be twice as expensive as Guyana will be able to produce power from gas. He said,
yeah, that is IL-Mawath. No Jake ain't got no money like that for start no power business like that.
Yep.
No Jake.
You know, he said, the private sector, all right? You go and look up the private sector commission, all right? You will see that every motherfucker that got seats under, all right? You know, none of them is not Jakes.
See that?
All right? You know, it's either Edomites, all right? Elamites, or some other, you know, it might be a confusion of face in there.
Yeah.
We don't know, all right? But for the most part, these people are not Jakes,
Yeah.
all right?
Because we know by the spirit the curse is gonna be on them. If any Jake high up, they have to do a lot of evil to get there.
Yeah.
A lot of evil to get there. And Elamites are known